Trinidad Chambliss. I think this is actually going to be the domino that breaks college football. We had conversations about Diego Pavia coming back for his 19th year, but obviously he couldn't come back again. He's off to the NFL. But now it seems that even Division II football is starting to not count towards your eligibility in a very sweeping a legal case with a lot of interesting situations. So let's hear a quick little a recoup from it from JD Pickle, and then we're going to go deeper into it.
The way this looks is, hey, you didn't play a certain year at Ferris State, and you're crafting something medically to make it look like you should get more eligibility, but it felt very fugazi to me. After learning more about this and hearing he didn't even dress out for a single game at Ferris State during that year that he claims he had some medical hardship and is looking for the medical hardship waiver for, I have a lot easier time getting behind this logic and seeing it as legit. Because here's where I'm at. Is it more likely that Trinidad Chambliss from 2023 to 2025 became a magician at quarterback to the tune of carrying Ole Miss to the semifinals? Or is it more likely that in 2022 he legit had something going on medically to where he couldn't even dress out for a D2 school? That to me feels like a difficult logic to get behind. So that leads me to believe then, okay, I think the medical stuff with you not dressing out for a single game was probably legit. Now, how should it have been filed and how did you file it? That's a fair discussion to have. But I think Trinidad Chambliss getting this extra eligibility is a lot less fugazi than I thought it was at the top. I'm actually pretty happy he won in the situation. Getting another full season of Trinidad Chambliss in the SEC, isn't that going to be awesome? Just purely from an entertainment perspective. That's going to be so fun to see number 6 back there playing Houdini. Now you see me, now you don't. Wheeling and dealing, reversing field, taking over games. Like what we saw in the college football playoff was nothing short of special. That's not a reason to say that's why you should be eligible, but it's a reason to be excited if you're going to watch them on Saturdays.
I think it's a good point. So yeah, to kind of, I think you gave a good a recap of that. The core of Trinidad Chambliss is and his attorney's argument for his 6th year of eligibility was that in Ferris State in 2022, he apparently had a medical exemption that didn't get brought through. They were there. The NCAA denied that was a thing. Now the NCAA is also going to repeal this too, or appeal this, because this was a injunction. So basically, it's not really it's more like a stopgap. It's more like almost a I don't want to say golden ticket, but a ticket to be like, hey, you have this year to play and to do these things. But it doesn't necessarily mean that everyone can have that same level of understanding when it comes to their situations, right? Specifically with Diego Pavia, it was about JUCO eligibility, right? And that's still going to be worked on. But this one is specifically about D2 eligibility and more focused. It's about the medical clearance that he apparently didn't or did not have. So I think that's an interesting thing. Now we're going to go deeper into some of these court filings because the court hearing is out and open, and there were some very interesting moments about it. And to JD Pickle's point, you learn a lot of new information about Trinidad Chambliss's, I would say, battle for trying to play again. But before all that, we got to start right here because this went viral. Our guy Joe Judge said this about a professional athlete, specifically with pregnant girlfriends.
But we would have to educate. This is always a tough conversation to have, and it's not a popular thing. This is the truth. We would have to educate significant others who may have been pregnant during the season or going to have a baby during the season. And you'd have to educate them on, you have this baby in the middle of the season. That father has to play good football, right? It's a day-by-day production business. He has to be ready to perform and go out there and play. And when I say that is, you need to let him sleep. He needs to be in another room, detached. You have to explain to the mother, like, hey, listen, he ain't waking up for midnight feedings. After the season, he's full metal jacket. You do whatever you want with him. And he can change every diaper. But in the season, he's got to have a different priority. Now,
that was not the most a popular thing. Y'all let me know how. Is he tripping? Is he wild? This is what I would say. I think if you specifically listen to the words he's saying in season, they shouldn't be able to do that. Now, as a man who just joined the dad club, I'm not about this in any way. I don't know. Now, luckily, I have a phenomenal lady. I do not have to do any midnight diaper changes, but that's because I get all the morning diaper changes. We got a whole shift situation going on. But in a vacuum, it sounds crazy. But this is football culture, and this is, I talk about this a lot more on the main channel. Like, football culture is destructive and disgusting, and it's awful. But it is what it is. Like, it is this idea that work and again, if you were a firefighter, I'd be like, oh, I get it. Nigga, you catch football. Like, it's a child's game. Like, people get mad when I call it a child's game. But it's like, dog, it's a game. Like, if we could stop playing football, and on paper, the world wouldn't be affected. Now, the world would be affected because people really appreciate football and the social things and the way what it does for people. So football is important in the social way that we've kind of had it intertwined within our culture, specifically of the South for college football. But it's a sport, dog. You can replace it with cricket, and let's pretend that cricket was the biggest sport in America. Who gives a fuck? Like, it's just a sport. It's just something to keep us entertained from the BS that's going on in the real world, right? So I do think when people outside of football see these things, they're like, dog, are you teaching a bunch of college level players that they should abandon their women in certain aspects and things like that? So I think the conversation is interesting. I know what he means by it. I'm not offended by it. I'm also, different strokes for different folks, because I don't believe what he's saying, but believe what you want to believe, man, dog. Get what you need to get done. But there was a lot of few interesting moments at this, what's it called? At this little hearing here. You have the NCAA attorney, Doug Minor, not happy that Trinidad Chambliss attorney William Liston, he supposedly was bringing up new arguments, and now, for closing, and now it got a little pretentious seemingly.
Matter of fact, the brief says, I just know, just for purposes of the record, Your Honor, this is not the full rebuttal to my comments. And he's making arguments that were not raised earlier. And I was asked for at least opportunity to at least briefly disclose.
Raised the issue, it proves bad faith of what he's trying to do for that. That's why we broke it up. He's going to open, he's going to close. So I'm going to let him proceed.
Thank you, Rob. That's exactly what I was the contention that.
This is such a good old boy court. This is such a good old boy court. Well, I mean, excuse me, son. It seems like you got to open. I'm just letting the man close. I don't care what you think about halfway arguments or whatnot. I'm gonna let the man finish. I'm gonna hear him out. Like, this is Mississippi, boy. This is Mississippi. Now, I think the biggest conversation that needs to be had really centered around Trinidad Chambliss is the fact that Trinidad Chambliss, his draft stock now, unless he comes back and does what he did again at Ole Miss, from a D2 player who was supposed to be a backup for Austin Simmons and ultimately had to be that backup, his NFL draft stock, will possibly never be higher. I think this tweet put it out perfectly. A lot of people, after seeing what he did against Miami at Texas A&M, like in that playoff run, I forgot if he played against Texas. I forgot. Was it Texas A&M or Texas A&M in Miami? It was. It don't matter. What it matters is Ole Miss and Trinidad Chamblas were running wild. They were going crazy. Trinidad Chambliss was, looked at as a potential Heisman. I mean, it was all a bunch of craziness, right? In a good way, in an insane, like Johnny football level. You would think you would want to ride that high all the way to the NFL, but he's like, nah. I want to go back and get that NIL check. Now, the thing about this that's so interesting about him coming back is that the Ole Miss got themselves a quarterback just in case. They got Deuce Knight out of Auburn. I believe he was a 4 or 5 star, so he's looked at to be a top tier guy. But Trinidad Chambliss already has his NIL money and NIL contract. He signed an NIL deal at the top of the year. Ole Miss was confident that they were going to get Trinidad Chambliss to come back. So confident they did that, but maybe not so confident they wouldn't sign another person. I'm interested to see what happens with Deuce Knight. I'm interested to see what happens with Trinidad Chambliss, and when he gets to this time next year, if he's going to be a third round guy, or is he going to be the belle of the ball competing with Arch Manning to be that dude. I think it's going to be interesting. But congratulations to him for getting that eligibility. Congratulations to the NCAA for getting pantsed again. They will be appealing again. Actually, I think I have the NCAA's. Here it is. The NCAA statement regarding the fact that at the end of this at the end of this court hearing, they were that being Trinidad Chambliss were given an injunction to go ahead and play another year. The NCAA statement says in response that we will continue to defend the NCAA's eligibility rules against repeated attempts to rob future generations of the opportunity. The association continues to urge Congress to take action. So the NCAA basically has no jurisdiction. They can't enforce anything. and Trinidad Chambliss will be playing another year. And I fast forward another year, I can guarantee you there's going to be 6 more Trinidad Chambliss / Diego Pavias. Well, I played at FCS. Does FCS count? Like it's going to start being stretched to the point where no one can have an over year anymore, right? No one has a pandemic year left, right? I think there's like there has to be like 3 people left with those, but it's gonna, when we get to 2027, it's gonna feel like people still have extra voided years when they keep finding new ways to make certain it don't really count. It wasn't real football. Like I don't know how he got that out, but he got it off. So congratulations to Chamblis. Congratulations to Ole Miss fans. But I don't know what happens next in college football, man. Y'all let me know how you feel down below. We'll see you next time. Peace.